Hello, my friends. Have you ever noticed when you're working on your car, it's never as easy as it's supposed to be, or as it seems like it's going to be? Especially the first time. The first time is always that learning curve. It's always horrible. In this case, tomorrow I'm getting my new shocks and my lift installed onto my Jeep Liberty. Liberty. And to save some money, I'm going to put the lift onto the new shocks myself. How hard could it be? Piece of cake. 4 bolts, there's nothing in the way. All I can do is take it out of the box, slam it on top, and we're good to go. What could go wrong? Everything. This was supposed to be a video on the open box and a simple installation, but it turned out to be so much more. But anyhow, here's the box, blah blah blah, came with a little paperwork. No instructions, or did they come with instructions? I don't remember. Didn't really matter because I would have read them anyways. So, okay, here's how it looks outside of the box. And it's very heavy. It's definitely not made out of any fancy metals, just probably steel. This is from China, but it seems very heavy duty. Alright, well, I don't really think about these, so it looks solid. That's all I know. I was correct. It is side specific. It's flat on the bottom over here, and it's flat on the bottom over there. It's curved up top, curved up top. Wide bolts, wide bolts. Okay, so it's installed right now, but it's not installed correctly. Can you see the problem? Can you figure it out? Let's see if you're correct.
Oh man, it's dark now. What happened? You know what happened? Let me tell you what happened.
What happened is, things never go as planned. It seems like such an easy task. So easy. Put on 4 bolts onto a thing. Nothing in the way. Nothing's blocking. It's a piece of cake. Do that twice and you're done. It should took you 10 minutes. Fell slow. But no, there was a snag. Let me show you what happened.
Okay, there it is. Hard to see, but there's the lift. There's the shocks. Looks like it's on, isn't it? Doesn't look like it, but it's not. Look, there's a gap. Right there is a gap. This thing is not seating flush. It should be flush. This piece should be flush with this piece, but it's not. Why? Because these bolts right here is against the top part of the lift, so it cannot go any further lower. So my initial plan, being the genius engineer that I am, I was going to put some washers in there and call it a day. That would have been so easy to do. So easy. It took me 10 minutes. Fell slow. But I was talking to my shop guys, and they said, that's not the way you do it the right way. The right way, you got to cut the top of each of these bolts. I'm like, how am I gonna cut that? Well, fortunately, since I'm out here in a parking lot with no power, my only option was a hacksaw. That's right. I am going to attempt to hacksaw 8 big old fat bolts. That is a big bolt. That thing is huge. It may not look huge. It's massive. So, let's see how it goes.
So the hacksaw came with a blade, and it's supposed to be like a medium all-around piece of blade, so I figured I'd give this a shot. And I tried it, and let me tell you something. It did nothing at all. Zero. It seemed like all I did was polish the bolt. Didn't scratch it or anything, just maybe cleaned it up a little bit. I'm trying to figure this out. Like you see, I'm right now This is my first attempt. I'm all weirded out, all unfinessed as I see nothing is happening. But that's okay. I figured that might be the problem. So when I was at the hardware store, I asked for their best blade possible. Something to cut the hardest steel in the world. So they recommended these Premier, what do they call them? It was a very fine blade. No, not like good looking fine, not that kind of fine. It didn't have a, hard body or anything, very nice butt, but it had very small teeth. What was completely shocking, what was the most shocking thing today, besides the fact that I had to cut 8 bolts, was the fact that the little hacksaw thing, the simple hacksaw, was giving me the worst. Like once you took off the blade, I couldn't for the life of me put the new one on. It seemed logically like it should be a piece of cake. It seemed like you should just snap into place, tidy it up, and you're good to go. It was not. I think I spent about 10 minutes, but I'm not going to show you the whole thing. But about 10 minutes to get this thing on. It was ridiculous, at least. But let me tell you something though. When I put this new blade on, I was shocked. This thing was cutting this bolt like it was hot butter. Like a machete through hot butter or something. Or maybe not quite that good, but nonetheless, it was making progress. It was cutting very well. I was really shocked. It was definitely worth the money. And it'd be a short work, but once I started figuring out, got a rhythm to it, I was doing really well. The weirdest thing though, that I would get through 90% of the bolt in like no time. It seemed like 2 or 3 minutes. But then for some reason, that last 10%, really like the last, realistically it seemed like the last 2%, just did not want to cut. I don't know why, I don't know what the deal was, but it was like a nightmare on Elm Street. The last 2% was just ridiculous. I don't know what it was. But nonetheless, the new blades did work. And it took me a total of about an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half, to come out here, figure out what I was doing, get the hacksaw together, which really wasted probably a total of 15 minutes to change the blade midway. But that was a big waste of time. But overall, it probably took me a good hour, maybe a little longer than an hour to cut, of actual cut time, to cutting the 8 bolts. And let me tell you that my arms were shot. They were ridiculously sore. I'm not used to doing manual labor anymore. I used to work at FedEx. I used to work at this construction delivery company. And I used to bust my butt. But now, it's more of not exactly white collar, but more white collary. I don't really do anything physical at work. So this was definitely a chore. This was a mission. This was a challenge for me. It's probably nothing for you. Yes, I know. But for me, it was difficult. And the worst part, my hand was dying, but it wasn't the one that was holding the saw. It was the one trying to keep the shock steady as I was sawing. That hand, by the time I was done, my hand was shot. It literally was like trembling. But yeah, I could do it again. I learned a lot. One thing about when you do something for the first time was definitely learning that after you do it once, you can knock it out.
So see, now, let's see, can you see that? It's seated all the way down. It's got nowhere to go. Solid piece. Now we'll put some Loctite on there, but I just want to show you a demonstration how it's supposed to look. I gotta say, that went better than I expected.
So just for your information, it was literally about 41 degrees out. And I was sawing so much. I was working out so hard on the saw, cutting down things, that I worked up a sweat. I had to wear a t-shirt. And also, as you can see, I'm wearing a mask. Now, granted, I have to wear a mask at work. But I'm not wearing a mask right now because there's nobody. I mean, I am wearing a mask, but I'm not wearing it for the COVID reason. When I was sawing, I noticed a lot of flakes and fumes and what kind of dust was floating. So I figured, you know what? I got the mask. I might as well wear it to really want to inhale that stuff. At this point, I'm about ready to start on my second shock. I decided this would be a good time to change the blade. Now, like I said, the first time is always a learning curve, and the second one came off easy, and I got it on easy enough. So I'm not going to show you all the more cutting that I did, but also because I actually ran out of memory on my phone. So I will have to say goodnight. And remember to hit like and subscribe if you're not, because the exciting thing is, the reason why I was such in haste, I think I mentioned earlier, to get this done right away, was because tomorrow it's going to get installed. The shocks with the lift will be installed tomorrow night. So, might not be able to post anything, maybe just a little quick, I won't say teaser, but just a quick review on how the profile looks. But then over the weekend, I should do a pretty thorough review on how the ride quality feels and what I think of the shocks as a whole. Thanks again for watching Paul's Take, and here I go again. Cutting again. An hour of cutting. And let me tell you something. This video is grossing me out. I didn't realize I had such a gut. So, starting with the new year, we're gonna go on a serious diet workout program. So stay tuned for that too. Thanks for watching Paul's Take. And also, don't forget, you can pick up a Paul's t-shirt, or Paul's Take Jump the Hump t-shirt. They're wonderful. I made them myself. I'm so proud of it. So check it out in the description. Thanks for watching Paul's Take.